Karen Curry here, author of the #1 best-selling book, Understanding Human Design, with your free weekly Human Design Transit Report. This week, the first part of the week is kind of nice. It's a week this week where we're playing with a lot of energy of inspiration and ideas. We have the gate 11 in the conscious sun. We have the gate 12 in the earth. So we're very much divinely inspired. We're getting all kinds of ideas, all kinds of inspirations, all kinds of twists and turns and new thoughts on how we could be doing things, how we could be going out in the world. And to a certain degree, we have a little bit of what I would call a golden pipeline to source when it comes to our language, our words, our understanding, our inspirations. You know, you might find this week when you open your mouth, things just kind of come out of your mouth, and they might not be things that you thought you ever thought about before. It's sort of like when you open your mouth, God kind of speaks straight through you this week, particularly if you're sharing ideas and thoughts and inspirations with other people. But it's also a time to be really careful, because when you got this much inspiration floating around, it's really easy to get what I call shiny object syndrome. You know, for you to feel like, oh, I gotta go do this and I gotta do that and I got this idea and that idea. Give yourself the gift of getting a notebook this week and just write all your ideas and inspirations down. Be really mindful of them, enjoy them, and then wait and see what shows up. Wait to see what starts to click and fall into place. As we move through the course of the next couple of weeks, things are going to be pretty intense for a few weeks, so just hang on. You'll find that as we move through the holiday season and we move into the new year, somewhere around the second week of January, you can go, and you'll start to see the fruit of all these ideas and inspirations kind of reemerge and show back up. But if you start going out there this week and start trying to make everything happen and trying to take every idea and force it into form, you really can end up just kind of running around in crazy circles. So on Friday, things get a little bit more interesting, and I really want to tell you this week, approach the week as if it has two distinct parts. The first part is from now until Thursday night, and then the next part really is from Friday until next week, or actually Friday until the day after Christmas. We're moving into a pretty intense combination of energies, and they're personal energies. These are not necessarily big celestial outer planets moving. These are inner planets that are moving, and it's going to feel really personal. Friday, the sun moves from the gate 11 to the gate 10. Not always my favorite gate. The gate 10 technically is the gate of self-love and self-empowerment. It's also the energy in its low expression of blame and feeling disempowered or victimized. Not always the greatest energy to go into a big family holiday with, right? So, you know, the real key this week is to pay attention when people are offering up their ideas, or when people are sharing, or they're even sometimes maybe pointing their fingers at you this week. Take a step back, go, okay, wait a minute. This is an opportunity for me to learn about my own self-love. This is an opportunity for me to respond in a way that is self-empowered. Make sure you keep this pointer finger of yours at home and in your pocket. Don't take it out in public with you. If you feel like you have to point your finger at something, go stand in front of the mirror, point your finger at yourself, and ask yourself, how can I approach the situation with the highest amount of self-love, and how can I approach the situation with the greatest amount of my personal power, and how can I make decisions and choices and communicate from the highest expression of love that I am? If you can stay focused on that, and if you can remember to don't say anything in the moment, take your time, think about what you're going to respond with. Don't jump in with your ideas and thoughts and inspirations unless you're asked. If you can just remember those key things, you're going to have a fabulous holiday season. You're going to have a blast. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to connect. It's going to be a great time for you to really show the love that is you and show the love that's in your heart for all the people you're here to connect with. But it's got to be done with great deliberation this week. So the other kind of shifts and changes that we have this week, we've got Mars moving into the 18. This is the energy for correction. So not only do we have the potential for blame, we've got a lot of potential energy that can be misinterpreted, and this is really important, misinterpreted as criticism. When this energy is playing, it's actually an energy that's designed for us to correct and realign patterns so that we get a higher form of expression of joy. Ultimately, that's the goal of the gate 18. But when it's transiting, particularly when it's transiting Mars, it means there's a lot of potential for us to really be critical of each other. Again, zip your lip, go home, sit quietly, wait and see, how you feel in an hour or in a couple of days, then come back, use your communication wisely, speak with great deliberation. it's an opportunity this week for us to really go deeper in our relationships, for us to get a little bit more honest, a little bit more real. But there's a lot of potential, if we're not careful, for us to really be tearing the fabrics of our relationships, and that's not what we want to do. So again, everything in this week when it comes to relationship energy says, be mindful, be thoughtful, be careful, don't speak unless you're asked, don't share your insights unless somebody asks. Sit back, be the wise Buddha, and just wait for someone to pat you on the head and say, okay, I'm ready to hear what you have to offer. One more big change we have this week in our outer planet. Saturn moves from the 1. We've been under this pressure for the last couple of weeks to asking ourselves, who am I? What's my creative contribution to the world? This week, Saturn shifts to the gate 43. So we're in this position where we're, first of all, potentially lost in our minds, thinking. That's a good place for us to be, actually, at least if you're thinking, you're not speaking. But for a really nice, powerful time for us to really be in our thoughts, transforming our thinking. Great time for us to have huge mental breakthroughs, even epiphanies and insights and awarenesses about new thoughts and ideas. In addition to that, though, it's also a time when you might find that people are not listening to you, or you might be lost so much in your own thoughts that you're not listening to others. So again, pulling this all back into the relationship portion of this week's energy, just be careful that you're really listening to people. Really, do your best to be present. And if people aren't hearing you for whatever reason, ask yourself first, did they ask? And if they didn't, zip your lip. If they did ask, but they're not really listening, or you're trying to connect with them, the power of touch is so important when this energy is transiting through. Touch somebody on the shoulder. Just make physical contact and make sure you're fully present to the people you love and let them be present to you. Have a wonderful holiday. I will talk to you next week. Have a great week.